Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today in this video I'm going to check the iFlight CineBee 75HD Micro Brushless HD Whoop. In this video I'm going to go over its features, show you how to set it up, and then head outdoors and test it out. The CineBee is available both as a plug-and-play version, which doesn't come with a receiver, and as a bind and fly version, which comes with either Frsky, FlySky, Futaba, and DSMX receivers. You can also get a white version, which costs $10 extra, and you can also choose between a version which is compatible with 2 and 3S Lipo batteries, which is the one I have, and a version which is compatible with 4S Lipo batteries. Inside the box, along with the CineBee, you get in some stickers for decorating the quadcopter. This type of battery Velcro straps, and one of them was already attached to the quadcopter, and the reason I removed it is because I'm not going to use it, and I highly advise to get this battery Velcro strap from RJX Hobby, which is going to make sure that the battery is going to be properly secured. In addition, you'll get in plenty of extra screws, 2 sets of Gemfan 1635 propellers, and 1 set of 4-bladed 40mm HQ props. On the front of the CineBee, you can find the Cadex Total V2 HD FPV camera. Unlike the standard version, it's not using the Turbo Eye plastic lens, so this lens is made out of glass and it's not going to scratch easily. By default, the Cadex Total V2 camera is configured to a 16:9 aspect ratio and an NTSC picture format. So if you'd like to change the settings, you can use the OSD plug, which is located on the back of the quadcopter. However, an OSD control board is not provided inside the kit, so you'll need to obtain one in order to change the camera settings. As for motors, it is using iFlight branded 1103 motors that can handle 2 and 3S Lipo batteries, and as I mentioned before, a 4S version is available as well. On the center of the CineBee, you can find the iFlight SucceX Micro 16x16 tower. The bottom board is a 12A BlheliS 4-in-1 ESC. The center board is an F4 flight controller, which comes pre-flashed to Betaflight 3.5.0, and the top board is a 40 channels VTX. It uses an IPX antenna connector, features smart audio, and has a selectable output strength of 25, 100, and 200 mW. On the back of the quadcopter, you can find the receiver if you have the bind and fly version, and I have the Frsky version, which by the way is available with either XM Plus or Frsky R-XSR receiver, which is the one I have. The receiver is secured using a 3D printed TPU part, which also holds the antennas, and I can see that in case of a crash, these antenna covers will probably come off pretty easily, so I suggest using a little bit of super glue in order to secure them. The CineBee is using an XT30 connector, and the battery is going to be mounted on the top of the quadcopter. And finally, on the bottom, you can find this plastic cover that is going to protect the Cadex Total V2 board, and it's also going to secure the micro SD card inside the board, which is a pretty smart idea. So you just have to insert the micro SD card in this manner, and then this plastic part is going to secure it and make sure it's not going to be ejected in case of a crash. The start and stop recording button is not accessible, and by default the camera is set to start auto recording the video once a battery is plugged, and when you are going to disconnect the battery, the file is going to be automatically saved. However, if you must access this button, you can simply drill a small hole and then you'll be able to press it. The CineBee is using carbon fiber top and bottom plates. Their thickness is 0.8mm, its wheelbase is 75mm, and the distance between the back motors and the front ones is about 46mm. The distance between the back motors is about 55mm, and the distance between the front two motors is about 65mm. So the CineBee is using a Squish X design. The weight of the CineBee is 69.5 grams, so it's a little bit heavier than the Tomoquat's Whoopee HD, which I've recently built, which weighs 65.5 grams, and much heavier than the Mobula 7 HD, which weighs only 46.7 grams. The weight of each propeller guard on its own is 1.85 grams, and these propeller guards looks like they are going to be very durable, and they also have this plastic part over here, which is going to raise the quadcopter from the ground a little bit, which is going to help to protect the motors. On my test flight, I'm going to try both Gemfan and HQ propellers. The HQ propeller weighs 0.29 grams, and the Gemfan propeller is heavier and weighs 0.45 grams. The next thing I'm going to do is to quickly go over Betaflight configuration and then head outdoors and test the CineBee using 2 and 3S Lipo batteries. I hope you will enjoy the rest of this video, and I will see you in the end of it in order to give you my conclusion. So overall, first of all, I can tell you that the best feature of the iFlight CineBee is that the image that it produces was pretty much jello-free. In addition, it was fun to fly and it packed some punch, especially when using a 3S type of battery. In terms of flight time, I could get around 4 minutes using a 450 mAh 3S type of battery, which is in my opinion probably the best option when using this quadcopter. In terms of range, I got to around 250 meters when the VTX was set to 200 millivolts, and I was limited by the VTX of course and not by the radio receiver, and in my opinion this is probably the weakest point of this quadcopter because the VTX didn't perform that well. In terms of durability, on my last crash, which wasn't such a big crash, I broke the ducted propeller guard and I will have to glue it or either replace it with the spare one that I have. And also the propeller just shattered, and at first I thought that it flew away from the quadcopter, but then I saw that this part was still connected. So in my opinion, the Gemfan propellers are a better option. Maybe the flight footage was a little bit more stable when using the HQ prop, but overall I think that the performance of the Gemfan propeller is better, and also these propellers are much more durable. Now by default, the Cadex Turtle HD V2 camera is set to loop the video every 3 minutes, and I highly recommend to turn off this feature, because then after 3 minutes you're going to see a stutter in the video, and also you're going to lose about 7 seconds of recording time, so I think that you should better turn it off. Finally, if you're in the market for a new micro brushless HD whoop, I think that the iFlight CineBee 75HD makes a great option, especially if you're looking for something stable, easy to fly, and that will also enable you to capture jello-free, high-quality HD footage. If you're looking for something more agile, the Mobula 75HD is also a good option since it is much lighter, and if you're looking for something more powerful, the FPV 85X HD is also a good option. Anyway, if you want to extend the range of the CineBee 75HD, I recommend to replace this linear antenna, and a good option would be the axis antenna that the 85X HD is using. As always, I thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it and you found it useful. If you have any questions about the iFlight CineBee 75HD, feel free to ask it in the comments section down below. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up if you like this video, and consider subscribing to my channel and hitting the notification bell if you're not already subscribed. See you on my next videos, and goodbye.